Hi, this is Ian Gillan. You're watching Artisan News.
Who cares? Ian Gillan, Tony Iommi, Iron Maiden's Nicko McBrain, former Deep Purple keyboardist John Lord, hymn guitarist Mikko Lindstrom, and former Metallica bassist Jason Newsted. That's who cares. The all-star band released a 2-song single to benefit an Armenian school still recuperating in 2011 from a massive earthquake that struck the country back in 1988. Gillan talked about how he became aware of the enormous tragedy that was underreported at the time, well before today's internet age and superhighway of information and news.
I was touring just before the collapse of the Soviet Union, in the Soviet Union with my band, Gillan Band. We'd come from St. Petersburg, Moscow, through Tbilisi in Georgia, Kiev, Grozny in Chechnya, across to Makhachkala in Dagestan, and then down to Armenia, which was still part of the Soviet Union then. They'd had an earthquake, which wasn't widely reported. It's not like now. 25,000 people were killed and 250,000 homeless, and it was quite... I was there a year afterwards, and it was as if it was the day before. I went out to Spitak, at the epicenter of the earthquake, and I was speaking to the mayor and going around and seeing people like zombies. And of all the things that I saw that made an impression on me, the one thing he said was that there's no music. Even after a year, there's no music in the church. There's no music on the radio. Children don't sing. Even the birds aren't singing. It's just dead.
The 2 original singles, Out of My Mind and Holy Water, were released in May, but it comes out today, June 21st, as part of an enhanced CD containing a 30-minute documentary about Gillan assembling an all-star cast to raise funds for the school nearly 20 years ago, followed by the making of 2 singles in recent times. Gillan talked about organizing the project after the earthquake called Live Aid Armenia. The documentary, titled Pictures of Home, details the involvement of David Gilmour, Brian May, Ritchie Blackmore, and Iron Maiden's Bruce Dickinson for an all-star cover of Smoke on the Water on the enhanced CD.
We decided to do something as a fundraiser at the time called Live Aid Armenia, but it stuck in his mind, and I said, well, when you're ready for some music, maybe we can do something. With a fundraiser, you never know. It's not pointed at anything. It's just raising awareness and raising cash, and you don't really know what happens to either, or what good it does. Everyone jumps up and down, and it gets a chance. Like most things, we enjoy doing what in sport they call pro-am stuff. You enjoy doing stuff that's you work with other people, you do something different from your daily activity, and so it's good fun. You get the chance to get a bunch of people in the studio and just mess about, really.
Gillan talked about how he and Tony Iommi came to revisit the idea of helping out again.
We went there to receive the Medal of Honor from the President for the previous efforts, and nothing had really happened, but the music had started again. A new generation had come along, and you could feel the vibrancy in the air. And so it was mentioned by somebody on a committee that there was a music school that was derelict, pretty much. We went out to visit it, and sure enough, there were holes in the wall, corrugated iron walls, and no instruments, and very poor conditions. Turns out that they needed about $750,000, which is not a lot here, but that's a lot of money in Armenia, and get a lot done. And so on the flight back home, we decided to form this ad hoc band, Tony and I, called Who Cares? I like the irony in the title, and it was just an excuse at the time to get together and write a song.
He then talked about writing with Iommi and getting their special guests to play on it.
So I went to Tony's place, and he came up with a bunch of ideas. Some were really good and some were great, and so we picked this one. Out of My Mind, I wrote some words and went back, we recorded it, and that was the guitar and the voice, so we decided we needed some other people on it as well, so we made some phone calls and sent some email, and we got some other guys on it, and and we put another song on it called Holy Water, which is not really holy water, it's about whiskey. But
the single and documentary is a beyond reasonable $2.99, and all proceeds go to retool the school and bring musical instruments in for the students to play.